Welcome back. Joining us on the show now is Mr. Shyam Narsaria. He is president at the Overseas Agro and he joins us from Myanmar. Mr. Narsaria, hi, thank you so much for joining in. And pulses clearly is a big discussion because for the Indian markets, the sowing numbers are all right. Even with those kind of rains, we haven't heard of much damage here. The concern really is about the prices, not the availability, because there's enough availability. What we hear is with the mills, with the government as well, and then it's cheaper imports too. How have you seen, first of all, Indian availability and the price rise?
Thank you, Manisha. The Indian availability is like, I'd say, in excess. But one particular point I want to mention here is, this is the first time I'm seeing this after 2018, that almost all the commodity, the prices are, some are 10% below MSP, some are 20% below MSP. But there is no demand at all from the consumers, from the millers, from the stockists. Everybody is staying away from the market. I don't know why. I never witnessed this kind of situation that the price are at bottom. I do feel this is the bottom price, but there is hardly any demand in the market for any commodity. But what I see, the availability is enough. Even the exporting countries, main countries like Canada, Australia, Myanmar, Africa, the supply is in plenty, but there is no demand in India. But I feel from next week onwards, there will be some good demand for the ongoing festive season. Means from September end, there will be all the Indian festivals. So I personally feel from next week onwards, almost all the commodities, there will be some demand.
Oh, well, absolutely. As of now, we do understand that there is enough availability with the mills as well. You talked about various countries, and for the longest time, Mr. Narsaria, it was Myanmar, which was a major trading partner for India. Now we have Brazil and Canada and Australia and African countries as well coming in. Do you see a lot of competition in the international markets, one? And many of these countries basically seem to be focusing only on India.
Yes, India is the world's largest consumer of pulses and also the biggest importer of pulses. Definitely earlier Myanmar had a very dominant role, but not in all the items, especially black mape, pigeon peas and grain mung bean. But other countries, like competition for Myanmar is now Brazil coming up. Earlier they had a crop of 50,000 tons. Then last year they had a crop of 125,000 tons. This year we're expecting somewhere between 150,000 to 200,000 tons for black mape. So competition is always healthy for the Indian consumers. It is always better to have a second option. And I take it as sitting in Myanmar, I personally take it as a very healthy thing for the trade, that no country should dominate. The dominance of Myanmar black mape is almost over. It will work purely on the demand and supply. For other countries like Australia, yes, last 5-7 years they have come up very well with lentils and desi chickpeas. Even Canada, they come up with big quantity of lentils and yellow peas. Even Russia, they have a good number of yellow peas. So we see a lot of countries coming, lot of in different geography, and all are like focused to supply in India. So India is a big market. And last week I was in China. I must say China is also coming up as a very big market, like for yellow peas, for mung beans, green mung beans. Definitely they are one of the largest importers. So I personally feel India and China two biggest consumers, but always Indians say like it is our staple food, all the pulses. So definitely the demand will be there and it will continue. And all the countries around the world will focus on India only.
Clearly. Mr. Narsaria, would you say that the regime of or era of higher prices in pulses is done with? I mean, something that we saw in perhaps 2022 is not a repeat that is going to come back. With the way the destination, rather the origin countries seem to be focusing on pulses, would you say prices more or less going forward are going to be in control?
You cannot say that era of higher prices or this has finished, because one thing government has also done a lot of things. They have managed very well in last 2 years. They have increased the MSP. They are purchasing pulses and giving free pulses to the like poor and middle class. So that is one more thing where people don't rush to buy. Means, almost half of the country is getting free pulses. So that is one thing the government's trying to control. Next thing is like the higher price of pulses was because of the wrong decision, wrong import policy and wrong policy. The farmers were not very keen to grow. They inclined more to oil seeds. So I personally feel the demand for pulses will always be there. In my last interview also, I mentioned the demand for pulses is increasing 2.2% every year, and it will continue. There will always be shortage in India. But I don't want to comment that the price of higher prices will prevail or lower prices, but at the moment, almost
What I
all
meant
the
was,
pulses
Mr.
are 10 to
Narsaria, that
20%.
in Indian markets, we are trading below MSP right now. The imports are even cheaper. Imports landed cost is below MSP as well. The way that we spoke about that there's no demand, enough supplies, new crops will come from origin countries. For the near term, foreseeable future, you don't see prices rising.
See, I don't see the price rising much above the MSP. There are only one item, chana, which is almost near to MSP. All other items are below MSP. I don't see too much rise, but it is good. Why? Because the MSP is up now. Means last 2-3 years, government has increased the MSP almost say 20-30%, and to match the market price. But yes, for this year, 2025, the supply is more. Almost all the countries have grown 20-30% more pulses. So definitely this year the price is low because of the extra production in the overseas countries which intend to export only to India. But it is demand and supply. If this year the prices are low, I feel the Indian production will also be come down for, I think, the coming this PG&Ps and black market, the production will be down. And I even see for the March crop of chana, I don't think the same production will be there because the prices are not very interesting for the farmers. So
Really?
demand and supply will always play the big role in the market. And it's a good thing that the price is in control, and it should. And I see it as a positive way.
All right. Mr. Narsaria, as always, thank you so much for joining in and explaining to us the overall pulses story there, where we've seen prices continue to decline and other countries growing 20 to 30% higher to give it to India. So clearly, not much chance that we'll see much price rise in the near future as well. But with that, it's time for a short break. On the other side, we get you more news and updates.